have stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars and risked the exposure of sensitive information. But he worked for a Democrat, so no big deal. Up next, we're going to discuss the press's near absolute disinterest in the case of Ingraham Awan and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. What happens when a congressional staffer with close ties to a top Democrat and access to sensitive hard drives gets caught wiring $300,000 to Pakistan and then is arrested trying to flee the country? Sounds like a pretty fascinating story. But if you're in the American media, they're not that much interested. Former DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz kept Ingraham Awan on her payroll for months, even as he was being investigated by the Capitol Police for a host of possible crimes. She even tried to hinder that investigation, but our intrepid press has shown little interest in the story. Tony Schaffer is retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel. He joins us and has been following this case.
Hey,
this is wild. I watched CNN, I'm sorry I have to admit it, earlier today. I'm jet lagged, so I needed something that would put me to sleep temporarily, just for an hour or so. So I had it on, and the guy who, I don't remember the reporter's name, but he reported it by saying, there are these conspiracy theories out there about this Debbie Wasserman Schultz staffer who basically is just like in trouble for some bad checks or some bank fraud. And he said, it's a conspiracy theory. Implying that like people like you who've been covering this and looking into it are into conspiracy theories.
This is more like a Quentin Tarantino movie with everything except the GIMP, and I think the GIMP's still going to show up.
Oh, good. I hated the GIMP in that movie.
Look, this is complex, and let me try to simplify it. Basically, Debbie Wasserman Schultz has employed three brothers who are of Pakistani origin at 3 times the salary of everybody else who does IT on Capitol Hill. And this all started years ago.
They must be really good at their job.
Well, apparently they failed at working at Best Buy and other places. So I guess if you fail at Best Buy, you get to be hired by the Hill.
Were they at Best Buy?
I can't remember which one. It was one of those outlets. Now, what happened, though, is that she's employed these folks. And over the past years, there's been real issues regarding the fact that every other Democrat person they worked for on the Hill fired them, but they were retained by her. Now, what is really key here to remember, Laura, it's not about hard drives. It's about the fact that these individuals, during the time they worked for her on Capitol Hill, in her position there as a member of Congress.
Three brothers, Pakistani origin, which is not in and of itself a bad thing at all.
Had massive access to all sorts of databases, to include email of other members of Congress, super user access to the system itself, and most importantly, the sensitive information being held by the House Foreign Affairs Committee and other committees that they had access to. What this all comes down to is like, okay, you could have all that, but what gets worse is she actually employs these folks apparently to do hideous things behind the scenes. There's evidence now that at least one of these brothers was helping her do the Bernie Sanders malevolent activities of trying to manipulate things against him. They actually helped her do things like voice change calls. They actually did all these other things, which
who are these characters?
And then
who are they?
They dumped. Then there's evidence now that all this information they had access to dumped off into a third database, which is now being called a breach. So that's why the Capitol Hill police rolled in saying there's something wrong here. And now the FBI has rolled in. And let me give you the big takeaway here. It looks like a foreign intelligence service may be the recipient of all this, and something called the Muslim Brotherhood. So
whoa. The Muslim Brotherhood?
Muslim
and
Brotherhood.
Debbie, oh, they're going to really say it's conspiracy theory
really
now.
Conspiracy now, but that's where apparently all this has been going in law enforcement. That's why the FBI is now investigating beyond the wire
these brothers have been kicking around Capitol Hill in various capacities for IT, but they essentially were blacklisted by most of the other Democrats, correct? But yet she gave them a home.
She gave them a home.
Interesting.
And they actually suspended most of their access in February of this year, and she kept them on anyway. So
she's just a very nice person. Apparently it's a jobs program over there at the DNC.
That $300,000 being kicked over to Pakistan finally was the straw that broke the camel's back.
But his wife is gone. She's safely over there in Pakistan.
And he was fleeing.
Keep covering it for us. Lieutenant Colonel Schaffer, thank you so much.
Thank you.